Hello, everyone. Welcome back to a very sparkly, Christmassy episode of the Good Enough Gaming Podcast. As always, I'm fine. Everything is fine. I'm Kyle, joined by Jordan, Trevor, and Daryl.
Jingle.
And we are the Good Enough Gaming Podcast.
This
week's episode is entitled, You Have Reached the Secret Level.
Oh.
Merry Christmas, Good Enougers. We were all treated to a little early Christmas gift on Amazon Prime this year with the arrival of the mini-series Secret Level. For those that don't know or haven't touched grass in a while, this is a short collection of short animations, 10 to 20 minutes long, made by Tim Miller and Blur Studios in conjunction with Amazon MGM. Each episode was based on a different game and story. Now, we, like many of you, have crushed all of them on release dates, and we have a lot to say. I watched all of them yesterday. Shocking. Just absolutely shocking. So, join us as we delve into the crossfire in this new world of animation for games. We will try not to dungeon and drag on too much about what deserves more playtime and what should get the exodus. But there were some outer this world moments.
Well done.
Join us on this adventure into Secret Level.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Golf clap.
Daryl was adamant that I read that whole pun
I was
section.
proud of this one.
Good.
Yeah.
So
Stella got her groove back in it. This intro was on fire. Okay.
So ideally, like, we're not going to break down all 15 episodes in great detail because this would be like a 3-hour long podcast, and some of y'all maybe want to listen that long. I don't know. I do love the sound of my own voice. Yeah, that's true. So instead, we're gonna talk about the episodes a little bit, and then we'll give the series an overall rating. Maybe if we want to come back and circle back to some specific episodes that stood out to us and rate those individually for good or bad. Is it circle back?
We're going to circle back.
Circle back.
We'll go from there.
We're going to work on the synergy,
Yeah.
the optimization of this workplace.
Yeah.
We'll circle back.
Before we start, though, I do want to share some very happy mail news. Mail news? News.
Oh!
So that got delivered to my house at like 6:00 tonight, and Trevor came over and picked it up shortly after.
So those that can't see this, that are not watching on YouTube.
Yes.
For the audio medium.
For the audio only.
So descriptive.
Trevor, behind Trevor is a brand new Thermaltake, the Tower 300, which is a big ass new PC that I won from Thermaltake. So thank you, Thermaltake, for supporting the podcast. And now all of us have an upgrade.
Fuck.
Let's go.
So excited.
We had to record tonight, so Trevor couldn't even get to unboxing.
Haven't even opened it.
No.
Put it in here, and that's about as far as I go.
But I'm going to force him to take some unboxing pictures, which will, I don't know, given how we sent our unboxed pictures of the PlayStations when we got them.
We'll see how I do.
it goes.
I'll do what I can.
Mm-hmm.
All about good enough here, Kyle.
It's all about the content, guys.
Once again, thank you, Thermaltake. I appreciate you. Lightning does strike twice.
Yeah,
Thrice?
it does.
We get thrice?
Thrice? Great.
Thrice is nice.
All right. So we are talking about Secret Level.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like, this series was all over the place.
Yeah. Do we want to do
Yes.
first chunk, second chunk?
We'll go. Yeah, we'll do first chunk.
Kind of like 3 chunks if we want.
I'm good with that.
Did you? Oh, you really did.
Clever bastard.
Daryl's. Look at our creative director here.
What about that
All right.
delightful son of a bitch being organized?
You know, we'll go through like 5 at a time. How's that? Yeah,
Sure.
Because that's what Daryl told me to do. So first episode, Dungeons and fucking Dragons.
Oh,
Banger.
Holy shit. What
Banger.
a start.
That is leading with your
Yeah.
strong foot.
Oh my God. And like, okay, so obviously, folks, spoilers at this point. But like, oh yeah, this cleric is just housing Tiamat inside
Yeah.
them and releases him to a dragon who they think can cure him. And just the party, getting that like Avengers Assemble moment where the wizard looks over and is like, I guess we found our cleric.
Yeah.
I was like, oh,
that was cool.
Everything about that whole episode was like, oh my God.
Everything.
And
The bandit camp, right?
Yeah.
Like just invading the bandit camp. Like this small thing. Be like, oh, hey, there's this guy in a cage. Like, what are we going to do with this guy? Oh, everything about that. I think because it was the most unrelated to a specific like ad.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't advertising a specific game. Yes, Dungeons and Dragons exists. But they just they took like the greatest hits in 15 minutes, right? They were like, what can we do in 15 minutes to just everything. The guys on the bridge and the mage is like
the lich with counterspell.
Yes.
Right? That was sick.
And then the monk clears the bridge and he's like, yeah, you got room. And the wizard's like, I can do it now. It's like, cool. Fireball. And I was like, oh,
Yeah.
Fireball.
The fireball moment was awesome. Right away I was like, oh, Daryl.
I also really like the design of everything, right? Like they had the camp, and then you get to this like Lord of the Rings entrance to this temple where the bridge is a dude holding a sword.
Yes.
Yeah.
Just the
Epic.
animation was great. I was like, can we get a aside from Vox Machina,
I wanted,
can we
a
get
whole,
an animated?
I wanted a whole series of that. After that, I was like,
Yes.
I don't even care what happens after this.
No.
Somebody keep making this as a show.
Yeah.
Okay, I will say there's a few of these episodes that like have that capacity, and we'll get to
100%.
that.
Like we've already
yeah.
completely diverged from our plan here on the very first one. But that's because this episode was fucking incredible.
Oh my God, it was so
hooked.
cool.
I was amazed. I was in awe from the very beginning. I wish they would have waited for this one to be like later in the
Yeah.
series. But
yeah, that's true.
That's like it's a good hook though.
It definitely makes you
man.
want to keep watching.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah, and honestly, even for somebody non D&D nerd, how you doing? Like even for somebody like me that doesn't know a lot of the lore and the names and all that stuff, it's a spectacle. It's a treat.
Oh
You get to see everything visually, and like just the animation is incredible.
So good.
And there's it's got action.
it was
a
my
little bit of
favorite
humor.
animation of the series too. Like,
Really?
It was mine. Like I
Don't think it was mine.
Yeah. It was good. There was a couple that were
Yeah.
kind of all kind of similar. But
totally.
That was by
yeah,
far one
nails
of
it.
the
It definitely
better
had
ones.
like
At least for the theme.
so like I know you guys haven't DM'd and stuff, but
hey, I have.
you have one, yeah. But like this is the kind of scenes that I see in my head that you guys totally fuck up and do something different,
Yeah. You're welcome.
right? So
As his
overall,
wife
I ride the
like
dragon.
an alligator and rides it like a surfboard.
fuck.
This is where VR needs to get to, where like you could build your own like D&D universe within
There are
VR,
programs,
and
but
everybody can see it. Like that's where that needs.
there's
to get to.
some like AR, so like alternate reality, so you can see it augmented. That's the word I'm looking
yeah.
for.
Like that's not right.
Yeah. It was close, but not quite.
Oh,
It didn't feel right. It didn't feel right. Okay, moving on. Otherwise, we'll talk about D&D for the entire time.
Yeah.
Sifu. I think if people didn't quite understand, or like if you haven't played the game, you don't quite get the nuances of some of it, like the coins on the belt and that sort of thing. But
I thought it encapsulated the gameplay
fairly
well, almost immediately.
and the fights.
That's kind of a
that whole
100%
scene. Yeah, it was awesome.
Completely reminded me of the game, and actually made me want to go back and play it, because like playing the game and some of the shit you can do is just crazy, and it plays like a martial arts movie.
Yeah,
I think Kyle said something really important there, though. Like,
I
if
think
you don't know the game or you haven't played the game, that's going to be a theme for this entire show.
Mhm.
Yeah.
because there's certain episodes that hit
about to say the
hard
exact
for
same
us because we have a personal connection to that universe or the characters or the game.
Yes.
And then there's other ones, and we'll talk about them later on. But like, it's like, well, that was cool, but it just seemed like another like sci-fi. Just flip a coin. All right, let's throw that in there. Let's throw that trope in there. And so the quality does a little bit of this. I don't know. I think so anyway. But yeah, Sifu was great. I played Sifu, love Sifu. The hallway fight scene reminded me of a lot of like the Jet Li like action flicks from the 80s, 90s, early 2000s.
But like a little more like gore to it,
Which I'm here
great.
for.
I just like I said, I think it does encapsulate like the gameplay and sort of like what the game has you doing, like dying and aging and you know, like things like that. Like it's inherently involved and just pushed right into it without any detailed explanation. It's just there, and it's nice because like I haven't really played Sifu, but I understood what was going on in that one. And so like I thought it was good.
Yeah. The other theme they touch on, I think, like Jordan's saying, the other theme they touched on that kind of recurs through the series is the whole, this is a video game. We're going to be meta and self-aware, and people are going to like revive themselves.
Yes, literally.
But I think the nice thing about Sifu is that is the point of the game, and that there is like there's an impact mechanic on
you
it.
age.
Right? Like, oh, I get to redo this again and again, which we'll shortly talk about.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like part of the actual story of the game.
Yeah. Which brings us to
the
the
next
next
one.
the next one.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like this leads really well into New World.
You have multiple lives.
So we're going to transition into New World then.
Speaking of New World,
I think this was like
Groundhog
one of the
Day
weakest ones.
Explorers Edition.
Well, I think this is one of the weakest ones in the entire 15 episodes.
There's a couple.
You guys, Arnold was the voice.
That also like.
What? How do you not know? It's like
I didn't even notice at first. My wife was like, "Is that Arnold Schwarzenegger?" I was like,
just
"No."
like him.
I was more questioning it out of the state of like
this man.
I was like, "There's no way
the governor needs money
right?
too."
I was just
right?
like, "There's like really." That was where I was coming from. I guess
their own game.
But this obviously, obviously, Amazon's going to plug one of their products, and they just like Eternum just came out.
It was
like, this expansion episode doesn't make me want to play the game.
No.
And if that's what this whole series is like designed to do, is funnel people to the
games,
the property, this did not do that for me.
I thought this was one of the funnier ones. Like it was just like there were some stupid components.
It was
like when they're like playing the board game, like
it was just goofy.
I can't beat you with my hands. I'll beat you in chess, and then it's like. Nope. Like you're still gonna die.
Yeah. I think what would have like made it an extra fun is if they had made a Groundhog joke and put like Bill Murray in it.
Just lean into it.
Extra meta.
I would have been like, okay, like just completely.
So this one, I didn't enjoy it.
Yeah.
It was.
Yeah. Well, again, to further your guys' point, like we're not connected to the games. So it's not really like a
no.
But I thought.
No, I've seen a lot of New World. I just don't think it's one of those ones that doesn't really relate.
And that's the
specifically
thing
to the
is like
story
there are definitely
anyways.
some of these episodes where it's like, okay,
right? It's just like this.
It's a little bit of a stretch, like trying to flesh out the lore of this universe.
Oh,
like,
we'll get to one of those later.
Yeah, we'll definitely talk about that. But like,
fuck,
Flash is an understatement.
There are many.
Yeah.
Some episodes to consume. All right, next one is Unreal Tournament. History. I played a lot of Unreal Tournament at buddies' houses in like junior high. I fucking loved this episode.
I was into this episode.
I was so into
it.
Yeah, because it wasn't just like they took this like arena shooter and gave it this like whole backstory of like revolution and uprising, And I mean, maybe that's why I enjoyed it too. There's like a little bit of like anti-establishment. There's a lot of like anti-establishment stuff and like rising up and
to demand,
taking leadership and what that does. And I was like, it was so fucking sweet.
Well, it's really funny because what they did with this game, obviously not something anyone gave two shits about in the 90s or like early 2000s. They essentially gave this like the Valorant or like the Dota League of Legends thing where you're like, this game has nothing to do with all this shit going on. But we're going to write this elaborate, crazy ass backstory for people that seem to care about it.
But it's cool as shit.
Oh God, it was so fucking
anyway. Cool. But we're just going to create this universe, right? We have to explain it to explain this.
Over elaborate. Yeah, and it's like this really cool flip flop thing where it's like they're taking a game that's effectively, like Kyle said, just an arena shooter. It's a multiplayer shooter from the
early 2000s,
20 years,
and then they give this deep lore and this cool story and theme, and then I'm kind of sitting there like, well, fuck. If Unreal Tournament played like this with a story, I'd be all over it. I'd play this for sure.
That and even like some of the OG sound effects and stuff like that they like sprinkled in there, with like sound effects that still keep coming up in popular media with like double kill, triple kill, rampage, all of that. That is Unreal Tournament.
That was pretty cool.
They are the creators basically of that. Yeah.
So I fucking loved it.
Yeah.
It was good. It was a great episode. It was like the anti-Terminator, right? Like the
only
robots have become self-aware.
Did I just root for AI and robots?
Yes.
Is this a trick? Is this a did ChatGPT write this?
Are we the baddies?
Yeah. Am I the bad guy?
Yeah.
Okay.
Great episode.
Great episode. Loved it. Brought me back quite a bit. Okay, last one in the. You know what? We're gonna rate every 5.
Sure.
Okay. Why not?
Packets.
Yes. So last one in this, like this 5 stack finishes strong.
This is the best of the 5 stack, I think.
Really? Ooh. Well, for you, maybe.
Yeah. Even the game of the year argument.
Entire thing. So
yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Space Marine 2. Holy shit!
This was great.
I would watch the fuck out of a series like this.
Yep.
Yeah. Give me a whole series.
Don't make it real like action. Don't make it live action. No. Make it this. Like if you're gonna do Space Marine as a show, make it this.
Yeah.
You hearing it now from us here on Good Enough Gaming Podcast.
Don't fuck it up.
Do not fuck this up. Do not make a real life show.
Do not tell Master Chief to take off his helmet.
Yeah.
Don't do it.
Okay.
This is
I'm sorry.
for this brand.
I'm sorry to be the Debbie Downer, but Amazon is doing a live action.
Just
right. Henry Cavill.
At least we get to look at Henry Cavill.
Yeah.
At least Henry Cavill's good.
Henry Cavill, yeah, it helps. It helps.
Hear me out.
But like this is what made everyone want to play Space Marine 2.
Yes.
Right? Like, we've talked about our gripes with that game, some of the issues and some of the things, but like this is the stuff where you see this in animation and you're like, should I go spend $1,000 on Warhammer?
For real.
Exactly.
Like, should I go get minifigures right now?
It was amazing.
Yeah.
Well, like watching like that one part in the scene where he like runs towards the fucking tank.
And just shoulders it.
Just just like drops the grenade in.
Yeah.
Fucking
just these dudes. And then like same thing, the guy's carrying like this casket.
And you're like, what the fuck is he carrying?
And then there's like a dude.
Yeah.
Oh
like what the fuck?
Like this is that guy's job.
Yeah.
It's like just drag me around.
I like how they just kept passing it off, being like, your turn.
Yeah. You carry it.
Don't forget the guy.
You carry it.
Yeah, you get the groceries.
Yeah. What I really loved about this is like the game did a really good job encapsulating just like the brutality of that world.
Yes.
But I think this show actually did almost a better job of showing you how good of a killing machine Space Marines are.
Okay,
like the speed at which they move, being hauled in tanks. Like,
can we talk about the axe, like the axe butt slam where it spins around his hand and he impales the guy behind him?
Insane.
like that. Those are trained like warriors. That is their fucking job, and they are good.
You got these like biker gang raiders coming at him, like, just this is a Tuesday.
Yeah.
It's like, it was such a cool. Like, I think it was IGN. I can't remember. And people have been saying like, it's just action sequences and like this whole series. Like, I was like, but like that's what a lot of these games are.
Yeah. Like what?
No one wants to watch a series about chess. Like, if you want to do that, go do that. But like that's what this is about.
I don't need to see
and like this is
them sitting around a round table just like talking for 15 minutes.
Yeah. But like what they've done here is they've personified minifigures.
Yeah.
Like you have to remember that. Like a lot of this is in books and stuff. But it's like, but you're taking like a plastic figure that people play on tabletops with fucking tape measures and making it the coolest fucking thing I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Right? Like that's a feat in itself.
Yes.
No question. Yeah. Like I honestly, one of the coolest things I saw was when he grabs the one enemy and then just headbutts it into his own head and fucking crushes the guy's skull. Like there's just so many moments like that where you're like, holy fuck, dude.
I was like, the game needed more cutscenes like this. Like that's what
that would make sense.
That's kind of what I lent to as well. I was like, I kind of wish they had more of this in the game. And like, same thing, make a series like this because I will watch.
I will watch this.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let Henry Cavill voice it. Just change it. Don't make it live action. Save yourself the money. Just put it all into the animation.
There's going to be so much CG in that.
Oh yeah. So much anyway.
Oh my God. Somebody at Amazon, give me a call. We can talk about this.
Bezos, hit us up.
You know everything about me already.
Bezos. You're listening to this.
You know my shopping history, so just
okay.
Dangerous.
First five. Rate it.
Out of 10?
Out of 10.
9 overall. Out of 9.
I'd say a 9. If you took out New World, probably closer to a 10.
I would agree.
It's an 8. It's an 8 for me, largely because of New Worlds. I hated that episode that much.
Wow, you were. I hated watching that one.
That episode.
But I didn't hate it that much.
I'm not going to hold it against them.
I hated.
The other 4 were so good that I think they cancel it out.
That's what I'm at. I'm like, 4 of these are a 10.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not sure I'd go that far, but yeah.
I mean, like D&D 9, 9.5, Space Marine 10. Unreal Tournament for me was a 9. Sorry, I know we're not doing individual ratings. We'll move on.
Yeah.
Let's go.
I was breaking the mold.
Okay. We will go to the second group of 5. And then we'll take a break, maybe.
Yep.
We'll see how we feel.
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay, so second group of 5. I will
starting off weird.
I'll announce.
Starting off real weird.
Oh my God.
Fucked up.
And then it starts off fucked up. And then when I saw announcements about things, I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Let's start with advertisement.
Tell us what it is.
Pac-Man. Okay. What the fuck?
This was
what the fuck?
I had no idea what the fuck was going on. I had to look at the title and be like, how the shit is this about Pac-Man?
Yeah, how does this
what is going on?
I
was like, is this guy one of the ghosts? Like,
what the
fuck is this?
Yeah.
Pac-Man, are you okay? Like, do you need some help?
Conceptually, I thought it was super cool.
It is.
Because the ghosts are him.
Yeah.
Like his and it's
no,
same thing.
The
it's
ghosts were the beasts with like the.
Well, there were beasts, but weren't there also other actual ghosts?
Like I thought just they were a clone. That thing is continually cloned over and over.
It's a bit of the. It's a bit of the Groundhog Day thing, and then you get like the creepy Pac-Man at the end that's just
trying to escape.
Do repetition. You're like, oh my God. Like if this thing gets out, what's gonna happen?
That's what I was like. Oh shit, Pac-Man's the bad guy. I've been playing the bad guy the whole time.
Yeah.
And then like there was an announcement about this new like forbidden. What was it like for? What was it called?
I don't even remember what it's.
I like just saw it.
It's a roguelike side
at the Game Awards. This was a like released game, and it was the guys that created it got free reign to sort of take the IP and make whatever they wanted out of this, like out of the franchise. And they're like, we got to go into the boardroom. We came up with something wild. We thought for sure we were going to take this back to those guys, and they were going to say, no, what the hell is wrong with you?
Yeah, they were going to cancel it.
And they're like, nope, run with it. That sounds cool as shit. And essentially that like greenlit everything. So it's like
Shadow Labyrinth.
Yeah, that's right.
Yes.
So Shadow Labyrinth is the game coming out, which is the darker whatever side of Pac-Man.
We're gonna make Pac-Man
we've been
dark
missing.
and gritty.
Apparently.
Is this like the what if? Is this like the what if version of Pac-Man?
I guess, like if you think about the old games, like you think of the Pac-Mans or like the Donkey Kongs, like the games that were just like repetitive levels that just got really, really hard. Like, that's a roguelike, right? You're getting better by learning. And I don't hate the concept. I'm not a big fan of 2D side-scroller roguelikes personally, but I thought the concept was interesting where like Pac-Man just like fucking eats a hole through somebody like
I'm gonna let you
like
go through
Critters.
all of this.
It's like watching the movie Critters from the 80s. Just
and then I'm gonna eat you.
Yeah. This is like, this one didn't work out, so I'm just gonna consume and like, repeat.
Eat
like,
or be
try the next one.
That's like that's the whole premise. Eat or be eaten. Like it.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my, this is dark as fuck.
It was a little too weird for me. Like Love, Death, and Robots was same thing. There's a couple episodes in those seasons where it's like, this is just a bit too fucked up for me. Like,
don't know how you got here, but we're gonna go on this adventure.
Yeah,
all right.
Exactly.
All right, moving on. This next one like came out of fucking nowhere, and then once I have stats for this one once we get into it. But Crossfire.
I had to look this game up.
I had to look it up too. I have never heard of it. However,
massive
game came out in 2007.
Yes.
Okay. It has 6 million concurrent users.
Fuck.
And 1 billion registered users as of February 2020.
Yes.
Damn. Yeah, that's
for you
fucking
guys,
wild.
It is essentially Counter-Strike, like original Counter-Strike, except it was not banned in China.
Yes.
So it for whatever
makes more sense.
For whatever reasons, because it wasn't terrorists and counter-terrorists, it's like these two like factions. Instead of this, I think through China and probably into some of the Middle East, there's places where it was not banned and people were able to play it, and
they could still play it.
Huge. And then as soon as I saw it, it made more sense. Where I'm like, what are we doing here? Trying to like extract this guy. I was like, what game is this?
Yeah. So so it started in South Korea, then spread to Japan, Vietnam, China in 2008, and then like around from there. It was the top grossing game of 2013 at $1.3 billion in revenue.
The biggest game you've never heard
crazy.
Or don't remember.
It's gross.
Yeah.
Let's see here.
I don't even play shooting games, so I was never meant to hear of this game.
It's essentially generating $1 billion a year.
Still?
That's amazing.
So 2018 grossed $1.3 billion. 2019, 1.4 billion gross income.
Wow.
2016, 2017, 1.1 and 1.4 billion dollars.
Just the money
that is fucking crazy. So again, one of the biggest games we've never heard of.
No question.
So 100%, I don't blame them for doing an episode on it. It was a very sort of like,
it's kind of a generic-y episode.
Yeah. It was a generic. I
wasn't really into it. I never really was like, oh wow, like I didn't really.
No,
I was like, yeah, well,
no.
It's kind of like a Black Hawk Down.
Yeah. It was just like a tactical
kind of thing. Yeah.
It was just
it was an interesting tactical thing going on or whatever. And then by the end, I was like, oh, nobody knows if they're good or bad here.
Exactly.
Just
nobody knows.
Just factions.
Gray area.
Yeah. Like they're both mercenaries for hire or something. Like it's just like a okay.
All right, Kyle, take us back up the roller coaster.
Okay, let's go. Let's crank it up here.
Okay,
baby. Armored Core.
Oh, 10. A fucking 10.
10 out of 10. No notes. Voiced by Keanu Reeves. Guys, I was messaging the group as I'm watching this, losing my fucking marbles.
This is my second favorite.
Keanu Reeves is a national treasure.
Yes. This was like I would watch a whole ass series of this because that was so cool.
Yeah,
so
I was honestly after
Loved
that I was
it.
like, oh my god, they need to like
Yes.
like somebody needs to take this. Amazon, Netflix, somebody needs to just run with this whole premise and keep it this style, keep it this gritty, and just go. This was such a good episode.
It was so good.
This is the perfect counterbalance to the Gundam franchise. Like,
yes,
like Gundam is super anime leaning, and like to me, this is the dark, gritty, grounded version that would
Probably
get people into mechs.
Yes.
I mean, I know Armored Core. I've never really played it. It's not my jam. But like watching this, I was just like, fuck, this is good. Like
so
cool.
Good, man.
That's
you
like
understand
Top Gun
it.
mechs.
You get the Top Gun mechs with a bit of that like cyberpunky, this guy's been experimented on. And he's got a voice in his head and like all this stuff. He's kind of enhanced, kind of fucked up. And you're just like, I'm here for this. This is great. And then he like finger boops that guy.
Yeah, the finger boop
just
and
squishes him in there.
Yeah, that was nuts.
So
also, did you know that Keanu is a fan of the podcast?
It's a lie.
Yeah,
did you not hear him say
good enough?
Did you not hear him say good enough?
It's true.
He's a real big fan.
He knows.
Real big fan.
He knows.
Yeah.
He knows us.
It's a call out. Shut up.
The one thing that I would love is like I played the last Armored Core. Phenomenal game, by the way. Like if it's cheap, you should buy it and play it. But this game, having him outside of the mech and seeing a little bit of the world on like the ground level. I've said it before and I've mentioned it with Gundam. I would love a mech game where the gameplay is mech based and ground level based. Like let me play certain stuff as the soldier.
Just a person.
Right.
But then let me actually like walk up to the mech, see the scale, and then press a button and like boop, 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 and let me get in. That's the kind of shit that I want in a video game format.
30-foot backflip into my Megazord.
Yes, exactly. That's all we're asking for.
It's more
Calm down,
time.
Green Ranger.
Maybe put in my power crystal to get this party started.
But this was one where I think they included enough realistic gameplay, which I thought was really cool. Like the way the Armored Core, the way the mech flew and traveled over. I was like,
yes.
I know that. I haven't played this game, but I know that
like skating.
I know that
rockets.
shit is accurate. I was like, you guys did a great job with that.
Yeah, there's a lot. Like this was one of the best adaptations. I would think.
Yeah, the combat
10
was
out of 10.
Yeah,
no
phenomenal.
Notes. Give us a whole ass show.
Yes.
Okay,
Back
moving
to
on.
weird.
Back to being depressed.
Yeah, a little bit.
The next one was Outer Worlds, and this follows a character who is super stupid but super lucky.
Yes,
he has this weird luck that follows him, and
that's considered
which is a
luck.
stat.
Like the guy.
Well, I mean,
things
to
don't
a certain
crush
point, yeah.
right. You see everyone around him getting murdered by like the environment, and he just like misses.
He just it misses him every time. And then instead, he just gets crushed emotionally, and I was sad.
The ultimate friend zone.
Oh
like,
man,
that was like the. I was like, ooh,
yeah, it was
unrequited love,
man. And he like, I don't know,
by robot mom from Futurama.
Yeah,
yes,
of all people,
yes,
pretty much, yeah.
That's a great analogy.
This does adapt the universe really well. Like I played the Outer Worlds this year, so it's still like relatively fresh in my head. And like this hits so many of the notes of that universe. Like it is part Fallout New Vegas meets Futurama. Like
yes, that's a great yes.
Yeah,
like it's such a weird blend that shouldn't work, but it does.
Yes.
I think the best part of this for everyone, like if you know the stats of like Fallout, is when this guy takes the poster and he goes to sign up to be a test subject. And it just explains the universe, which is like, well, you stole company property, you did all this stuff. And she's like trying to give him an out. but his character cannot lie because his charisma or whatever, he's like too dumb, like his science or whatever his stat is too dumb. He's like, oh no, I'll just work really hard and pay that off. Like, I definitely stole it. And she's like, oh, I'm trying to like get this moving because this doesn't fucking matter.
Just tell me you're returning stolen property. It's like,
he's like,
oh no,
I
took it.
Yeah.
I'll pay the 75. I'll pay the 75 bits. Like, whatever. It's fine.
The funny thing that hit me at the start was the animation on this one was like, it took a minute to get used to.
Yeah.
The very start of the episode, I was like, this feels like an updated version of Polar Express.
Thank you.
It felt so weird. I was like,
thank you.
What is with this guy's?
What's
wrong with this guy's face? Like, is his motion captured or no?
I couldn't put my finger on it. I could not put my finger on it, and like something just felt like a little. Like, I hate Polar Express. I cannot watch that movie. Maybe that's what I cannot stand it.
Well,
because the animation is just like
the kids are a little weird. Creepy. Yeah, and
the kids are super creepy. Yes. Yeah.
So that's why maybe that's why this episode was a little extra unsettling.
It was funny because I thought they were leading into it. The kid, although like I don't think he ends up going that route, he kind of reminded me in like the way he looked of the mad scientist guy who was like kind of your guide in the first game.
Right.
I was like, oh, is this like a young version? And then like, he starts losing limbs and going to all this scientific. I was like, oh no, never mind. This is explaining the other side of like the corpos.
I thought he was going to end up like a full
evil
robot.
corpo.
Then he becomes Hammerlock.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I like that episode. It was weird, but if you've played going back to it, if you've played the game and you know the universe, like,
hilarious.
It's
oh
really
shit! He left the cage open.
Everybody behind him is dying.
And they just walk off.
Yeah.
Okay. Last one for this grouping. And it was a big one because there is
a mega fan here.
Oh my God. I have some thoughts about it. I'm going to let Jordan go first.
Oh, that's fine. You can shit on it all you want.
Mega Man.
So Mega Man. This is not the only episode like this in the series. Why is it only 8 minutes long? Like, it does not do the franchise justice by only giving 8 minutes of time
at all.
What gave us.
That's my biggest thing. I was like, why is this so short?
Yeah. Like what they gave us was phenomenal. And it's another one of those episodes where it's like, give me an entire series like this. And I'm all over it. Like in the games, especially the 2D ones, you don't quite understand the scale of a lot of the robots in relation to Mega Man. And that was one of the best things I loved in this episode was you got him as like kid robot, and then Bomb Man is about to get activated.
It's huge.
He's gigantic.
Huge.
He's, like 10 stories tall. And so like I thought they did such a good job of like just showing you. Yeah, some of these boss fights that you're doing in the games are against fucking gigantic dudes. So I love that.
2 complaints.
One,
like you said, way too short, and it didn't end on the D&D episode. It ended on a cliffhanger where you were just like, fucking let's go. Like, I want to play some Dungeons and Dragons and kill shit. This one just kind of ended and you're like, oh, is that it? Right? Like that was kind of where you left. You're like, are we not going to finish this off a little bit more?
I was just like, when does he get armor? Like when does it?
You don't even get to see him like use his blaster.
Where's the next thing? Like
uses it in the firing range one time.
Yeah, like he gets to fire one bullet and like.
And then the second was like the kind of not like Iron Giant, but like I think of like kid version superhero movie trope of like, oh, I accidentally discovered my powers and now all of a sudden we're going to trust me to do this. And like, I was just like, that's how we're going to go with this. Like with Mega Man, I was like,
yeah.
That was the only thing. I still loved it. I still thought it was fun, but I was just like, let him go, like show us that he's capable. Yeah. Right. Like he just accidentally destroyed this giant robot. And now you're going to be like, yeah, he's good. Just trust him.
It's good.
He's Mega Man.
Complaint: his helmet looked fucking stupid.
I think that made it like
I'm sorry.
Realistic.
I think it was just a more grounded take on it. I didn't mind it. And they also, again, they just didn't give us enough time with it, right?
Eight minutes for this.
Yeah,
and like end with him like posing on a building. Okay.
Like I enjoyed
some cheese factor this one.
I was like, major cheese factor.
I don't like this
one.
Come
on.
Like I enjoyed the scene of him getting like the armor pieces that grafted to him. I like that.
That was cool.
I just think what would have made a better ending to the episode is like, okay, he's got his armor, he's on the rooftop. It would have been cool if the camera like panned around to behind him and you just see an army of robots that he's about to go up against.
Yeah. With like a sprinkling of one or two of like the main bad guys or something.
So
right?
like a different
And the other issue is one of the biggest kind of mechanics in Mega Man games is he charges his blaster and like his body glows when it charges up. It would have been cool if we got to see him like jump off that rooftop and he slowly starts to fucking, kind of pulsate. And then if there was end credits at that point, I would be like, all right, cool. But there was just some of the Mega Man
too many missed opportunities.
Yeah. There just wasn't enough in the Mega Man
Turbo
stuff.
Man.
All right, rate them.
Classic. 7.5 total, and the only redeeming one was Armored Core for me.
Carried by Armored Core.
By Armored Core.
Same. 7.
Definitely carried. Yeah.
Worth a watch, especially because they're 15 minutes, right? You're not, investing hours. 7 carried by Armored Core. Hard.
I was gonna say this is an IGN 7 for me.
Yeah.
This is a
I'm sitting at a 7.
So make it a 10 or a 3.
Wait, you're getting paid?
yeah, you guys are getting paid. This is 7.5 for me. Mega Man and obviously Armored Core is like the flagship.
Oh my god,
phenomenal! Yeah.
All right, okay, we're gonna take a quick side route here. We're gonna stop. We're going to shake our minds free, and we're going to transition to some wrong answers only. So, take it away, me.
Answers only.
Okay. Thanks, me.
Yikes.
I can't help it. So this week's wrong answers only. If you are here for the first time, welcome. Congratulations. Happy you found us. Stick around for a while. Stay a while and listen. The way wrong answers only works is I give the guys a prompt of something and they give me the worst possible answers. Why? Because it's funny and I like it. So, this week's prompt is, these are some games that were rejected for secret level episodes. Go.
Animal Crossing, but they all turn into zombies on a deserted island.
It's like Marvel Zombies of Animal Crossing.
I would have thought that you could have made it like a gangster movie with what's his name? Is it Tim Nook?
I don't remember.
Tom Nook.
Tom Nook, like hitting people up for
their money.
Yeah.
Leisure Suit Larry.
Oh. See, I was gonna say Conker's Bad Fur Day.
That's on my list too.
I was also gonna say Diddy Kart Racing starring P. Diddy, but
except instead of the boss, it's just people running away from him.
Yeah.
That was just a slippery one to book.
Ooh.
Yeah, there's just all the power.
Get your hovercraft. Get your hovercraft.
Just baby oil power ups everywhere.
Can we get an episode of a Dead or Alive volleyball? I don't think that's going to make any rating system.
I think that already exists somewhere in Rule 34.
Oh, there's some sites. I'm sure there's some websites.
Oh, yeah. 100%.
I never would have thought of that. That would have been the fastest way to get that show canceled.
Immediately, yeah.
What am I watching?
That's off.
Oh my god.
Hello Kitty Island Adventure.
That would be funny.
Classic,
especially if they made it reverse.
Gave her the Pac-Man treatment. She's just eating everyone.
Just this feral street cat.
She's like
ends up like eating
right
butters at the end or something.
Spayed.
Yeah. Just at the shelter.
Okay, worst one. A Sims episode.
Oh. And they only speak Simlish.
Oh.
Yeah.
Just
make it a parody of a Friends episode, but they all speak Simlish.
Just Simlish, but everyone knows
just
what they're saying because they've seen the Friends
and shit. Like that's all.
Yeah.
There's like a baby on fire in the back, and just
someone drowning in the pool.
Someone drowning in a pool.
Yeah,
just a bunch of food plates everywhere with flies.
Now it's not a wrong answer, but it would be really funny to get a guest view experience of a roller coaster tycoon episode. As like one of the guests going into some like insane park with like rides that are shooting people into the space.
And it's like the first person perspective too.
Oh my god.
As they're going up the roller coaster, they look over and they see the track being deleted as they're getting to the top. Like,
that'd be so funny. That actually.
Or like what is it like Zoo Tycoon or like even like City Tycoon where you get the monsters or like the animals escape or something.
Yeah. Oh my god.
That's great.
Okay,
hit us up, Amazon. We got ideas, baby.
Any other ones for season 2 of Secret Level?
Outlaw volleyball.
Yeah, that's right up there. Outlaw volleyball against DOA volleyball.
Yeah,
a tournament.
Oh. All right. Well, thanks.
SSX tricky.
Oh, that would be dope.
With those characters, that'd be sweet.
Yeah. Another episode that would be good, I'd actually enjoy, is the Tekken episode. I think would be legit.
Yeah.
I need them to keep making that anime. That Bloodline anime was good. I hope they keep going with that. Anyways, let's go back to that.
Moving back. So we have 5 more games. Yep. Starting with one that is actually a new release coming out.
I was curious about that.
I had to look it up. I was like, "What the fuck is this game?
How have I never ruined it?" Oh no, not this one.
No,
I'm confusing my games. My bad.
Yeah,
I take it back.
Okay.
All right. So Exodus, which is a sci-fi kind of game, follows the story of. I mean, there's some like time jump stuff because of space travel,
kind of like Interstellar kind of.
Yeah,
it was an Interstellar. Yeah,
which ends up with like the father finding his daughter, but her being older than him.
Yeah.
I don't know, guys. I was whelmed.
This was like a fluff episode to me.
Yeah,
I never really got into it. I was like, okay, like I get the premise. I get the story. I get the like heartstring pulling, but I'm not invested in these characters. There's not enough time to make me care.
The episode's too short.
About these two characters to be invested into this level of like, oh my god! Like,
especially with this one being a new IP, having no reference.
Yeah.
Right. Like that's where other ones you can get away with that a little bit because you're like, oh, I remember playing this in this game and doing this cool thing. But in this, you're like, I'm going in blind. Like, what are we doing?
So
the only thing I liked about this in terms of that like time travel aspect was that because she left so long ago and like was in this other like area of space, like her equipment and her ship was like older and kind of like out of date, whereas like his ship that he was flying was like fully upgraded with new technology and everything.
But he also joined that alien faction, right?
Which were also super
like,
okay, which
cool.
is why.
Like,
the details were cool, but
So this is a game that's being made by BioWare.
Really?
Like math. Yeah, BioWare is making this. Mass Effect, and Matthew McConaughey is involved. I think he's
all right.
So it's sorry. So Exodus would be made by Archetype
Best
Entertainment.
thing about my daughter, she keeps getting older, and I stay the same
age.
Okay, so Exodus is being made by Archetype Entertainment, which has a bunch of former BioWare developers.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So
that
new
makes more
studio.
sense. Yes. Third-person shooter mechanics, so just expect Mass Effect, but different.
I mean, from a game perspective, I'm into it. Like, you know, I would play a game like this. And like to Daryl's point, I think if I had 40, 50 hours worth with the time travel, you know, mechanic, and like maybe you run into characters that were part of your party at the beginning, but now they're like 80 years older or something.
Yeah.
And for as a game, I'm into it because I think that could be really cool from a narrative perspective. There's lots you can do there.
But you need more time. Like you need time.
Exactly. You need time to be able to care about the characters.
With this one is like, there's just not enough to get into that level of like, you know, it's not like care, but like, you know, empathy and understanding of the big moment you're having here. Like, it's just not enough time.
It felt sort of just like an extended trailer that didn't quite explain what's happening, but did. And you're just kind of like, I'm still waiting for gameplay.
I didn't either.
Like the animation was really nice. Like it looked great.
Oh yeah.
You know, and again, some of the deeper lore, once we learn more about it, I think could be really cool. But trying to do like a super emotional, sad story in 10 minutes, 15 minutes, it's just not going to work. It's just not going to be effective.
The only people that can do that are the people that make Pixar shorts.
That's it. That's their job. Leave it to them.
Leave it to them to do.
Back to like roguelike stuff. We got Spelunky.
Yeah.
Spelunky.
See, I
Spelunky.
played Spelunky. I like the game, like platforming type shit. This episode was awful.
Yep. Terrible.
Trash.
This was full on, hey, a video game is a video game. It's about the
journey
you made. It's about the friends you make along the way.
Fuck off. This and the New World episode were two of the worst of the whole series, in my opinion. I think this is very close to Schwarzenegger Trash Panda. Like it's close.
I think we can all agree on that.
I know some people like love Spelunky, which is fine.
Nothing wrong with the game,
but it just
this episode wasn't good.
Yeah.
Like it's from 2020, and I was just like, it seemed like a weird thing. I was like, are you guys like releasing something or doing like it felt like it should have been more of an ad, honestly. And I was like, oh, but there's nothing new coming.
Take the 8 minutes you wasted on fucking Spelunky and give it to Mega Man. Like you gave both of these 8 minutes. Spelunky was trash. Just give that to Mega Man. Give us a 14 episode fucking show. Like.
Yeah.
This was almost like they wanted a different game.
The next one is funny to me because this is like the most time anyone has spent doing anything with Concord was watching this episode.
Thank you. And it was even
you know what? This is what they should have did with the game. I was like, they shouldn't even have fucking did the model of the game that they went for. If they did this style and went as it from like heist. Space heist, like maybe multiplayer RPG, like co-op kind of like PvE kind of situation, would have been a successful game. This was, I didn't mind this episode. Cool. I was actually like, this is kind of cool. I know what this is for.
This explains a lot for a hero shooter.
It's a piece of like steaming dog shit, but like
It's really funny because on this one, they did the very opposite thing of what Arcane did, where Arcane took a very, very successful game and like that was already successful for whatever reason and made this like really weird universe story related to it. And this one, they're like, let's make this really cool universe and then give people a game and just fucking pray that people enjoy another hero shooter. Right? Like, it doesn't work that way. Like, that's a chicken and the egg situation. But it's like, you did this in the wrong order. You guys put way too much into the story and all of this to give us a game that gives you none of that. They did a
year's worth of cinematics that nobody will ever see. Like that blows my mind. That shit.
Just make it a show.
This was Uncharted meets Guardians of the Galaxy. And if it played like that in a game, take all my money. Take it.
Nope, 5v5 shooter. Fuck you.
Zero
fuck yourself, Jordan.
Like, 5v5 shooter, and we're gonna charge you $50 for it too.
Yeah,
like get fucked.
Only to get Well, aside from getting shut down, if they had not already shut down, that game would have gotten demolished
Rivals?
by
Oh
Marvel.
my god.
By Marvel Rivals. Like in the last 2 weeks. They would have everyone would have
anyone that owns a copy
Concord
of that
anyways.
game, I hope you like your $50 coaster. Like
Oh man.
It's a collectible. It's like the keep it. It'll be like the ET.
Yeah.
God.
Okay,
much,
let's move on from Concord. It was
I liked the episode. I thought it was
speaking of weird ass games that have weird ass stories that don't make sense.
Honor of Kings, which apparently is one of the most played like phone MOBA.
It's a Dota League of Legends.
It is the highest grossing mobile game of all times.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Wow.
But it's a mobile Dota League of Legends.
Okay.
And so when I was watching this, I was like, okay, this seems kind of cool. Like I thought when they said Honor Among Kings, for some reason, I was thinking like Age of Empires.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
And when they were talking about like they were talking about like the overlords and the city falling apart. I was like, oh, this is like the person playing
RTS.
Like this is
an
that
RTS.
This is like the moment in like the Lego movie where they like pan to Will Ferrell and it's like his Lego city. And I was like, oh, they're talking about the dude playing the game. And like, oh no, it's a MOBA game.
Okay.
Like,
I didn't feel like this episode was connected to any of the game at all.
No.
But I actually liked the episode. Like
I totally agree. That's why I looked it up. I was like, what is this game? And same thing. They tried to do an arcane thing with it, but it just doesn't like for 15 minutes, but you just like, it just doesn't make any sense.
I thought that this was going to be like, I didn't know about the game. I thought they were teasing like a new JRPG coming out, like a third person action game. I was like, this would be kind of fucking sweet.
Yeah. Take fate into your own hands kind of thing. I was like, yeah, this is really cool. The animation was incredible.
The animation was cool.
The story,
yeah.
The story they did was very good. And I was like, I understand kind of where you're going with it. Same thing, cuts off at like an okay point.
Yeah.
But then when you go to reference it, if you do not, maybe if you play the game, you're like, this was awesome. But for an outsider, I was just like,
I didn't really understand like the connection. Like, you know, where we're talking like Unreal Tournament, like there's an inherent distinct, like Armored Core, like there's parts of the gameplay that kind of mix into the episode. They're like, oh yeah, this is dope. I don't see that much in this episode. Maybe I don't understand it completely, but I did like.
I don't get adding story to MOBA.
I thought it was good.
Okay, can I give you some stats about the game itself?
Oh God,
stat away, buddy.
Sure. How many billions of dollars they've taken from people?
Okay, so they had one cosmetic hero skin for one of their heroes, sold $22 million in one day.
In a day?
It's like the Genshin Impact of mobile gaming.
Damn.
Okay. They report over 50 million daily active users.
What?
The game grossed $911 million in the second quarter of 2017.
Second quarter?
In a second quarter?
Just wait. This gets pretty fucking crazy. So this is 2016, 2017. Between the last quarter, the last quarter of 2016 and the second quarter of 2017, the game grossed $4 billion.
Whoa! Oh my!
$4 billion.
This is that
in 3 quarters.
Go see our episode about handhelds. This is the epitome of hey, there's a lot of people who don't have access to big mainstream game systems. Let's make this a mobile and then turn into mobile, gotcha mechanics or skins. And this is a viable.
This is why mobile games are still being churned out on a daily basis because there is money.
This shit. Yeah,
there is money to be had in that space.
That's wild.
Wow,
that's wild.
Yeah. So episode as a whole, for me,
I didn't mind it. I thought the story in this one was good.
Like a 7 out of 10 for me.
Okay, last one. Playtime.
Oh.
This one was weird because I didn't know where they were going for. There was like, it wasn't a game itself so much.
This was a PlayStation commercial.
This is the advertising side.
That's what I thought it was.
This is the advertising side of PlayStation propaganda.
So like, there was a ton of cameos in here, like Shadow of the Colossus. Helldivers showed up. Kratos at one point.
They made the episode.
The Helldivers guys were funny.
The funniest part.
Fucking
Sackboy just
they kept putting Sackboy in it, and I I was so happy, but I was just like, I thought you guys were like killing that franchise for Astro. So I was just like, why is he here?
Yeah.
Like, it makes me happy and sad.
What
at the
made
same
me
time.
sad though was like Kratos showed up in the trailers for Secret Level.
2 seconds.
And he's in
So
this.
I thought he was getting an episode.
Well, yeah,
This is his entrance.
I think everybody thought that God of War had its own episode, and he shows up for 2 seconds in this. Like, it's such a waste.
Yeah,
such a waste.
I was expecting like the other one. I was expecting was
like
Aloy.
Ratchet and Clank.
Like, they're like once we learned that they were doing like just a kind of PlayStation as a whole episode. I was like, oh, there's a couple people you could toss in here that would be great. This is also the perfect episode that if PlayStation was going to tease a new
IP or something
game,
no brainer.
Mascot.
Like you put Jack and Daxter in there or something, I would have lost my fucking mind. I would have been like, they're bringing it back, confirmed 100%, right?
Yeah.
Any of those, I would have Crash Bandicoot.
I
would have.
Yeah.
I would have lost my mind.
So I did appreciate too that there was a bit of commentary on like bullshit, meaningless game achievements. Where her bike goes from orange to burnt orange. And it was a legendary skin.
Yeah,
it's still orange. I was like, oh, that's actually super funny.
Yeah, that was good.
We've all been,
and I'm the only one that can see it. Like that was the other thing that I loved.
Yeah,
like like you're the only one that can see the changes to like everything. And I was like, oh man, this is great.
Yeah, kind of like a Ready Player One type situation. Yes, he was Buddy Bot. Which then turn into like evil, these like Matrix like
bots,
droid things, which were interesting. It was kind of like another stick it to the man episode for Kyle,
pretty much.
Although funny because it's Sony, one of the biggest corporations in the world.
Okay, so I feel confident in rating this group of 5. You guys?
Yep.
This was the weakest pack, I think.
Yeah.
And to be honest, the second, because it released in 2 chunks.
It was 8 episodes and 7 episodes.
The second half was weaker than the first.
100%.
110%. Because Armored Core finished off the first 8.
Yeah, what a way to finish
and left you with like, give me more.
Yeah.
I
have this as a 6.
Kind of like,
this is like a 6 for me.
Yeah, I would agree.
That was like a 5.
Spelunky was like a 2, and then
fuck, Spelunky was bad. That just made me angry. That episode made me upset.
Okay, so we're already at a fucking hour here somehow.
Yeah, I think we're
it happens.
Just give me your favorite 3.
D&D, Armored Core, Warhammer.
Unreal Tournament. Warhammer was very close, but
I'm probably with Trevor. Yeah, it's probably D&D, Warhammer, and Armored Core. I mean, Mega Man just didn't give me enough. Some cool moments, but it was too short. So I like Sifu, but same kind of thing. Sifu, I think, was only maybe 13 minutes. I would have loved just a little bit more out of that one.
Yeah, I wanted to see him old ass like fight the main bad guy.
Yeah,
and I actually agree with Kyle.
Just a little.
I think my top 3 are Armored Core, D&D, and Unreal Tournament. I think those were my 3 favorites.
This is why you're my best friend.
That's fair.
I will say, if that's my top 3, Unreal is
it's very
not
close.
like Unreal's like 10.
It's an honorable mention.
Those are the best. Those are the best. So if you're like somebody that's only gonna nitpick and just pick the best things and
those
pick our word for it,
just watch
those. Are the 4 you need to watch.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, I think us ranking the groups of 5 is probably enough.
That's enough.
But I do think that episode was good enough. Don't you, Keanu?
Good enough.
Thanks for tuning in to this week's episode. Make sure you follow us on Instagram at GEG Podcast. Check out our website, goodenoughgaming.com, and write us an email about anything from our episodes or something you would like us to discuss in the future. You can also now join us on Discord on the Good Enough Gaming Discord server. We really appreciate you listening and hope you continue to join us on this epic adventure of discussing all things gaming and nerdy. Please subscribe to the Good Enough Gaming podcast on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, or wherever else you listen to your podcasts, and rate us 5 stars so we can find more good enoughers in the process. Just remember, we might not be great, but we are good enough.